One of the most exciting things about science is that it's constantly making new advancements and explaining things that have long puzzled us. But of course, there are still some things out there that we don't yet have explanations for. With more research, we know that we'll get the answer someday. But for now, here are some of the biggest phenomena that science can't explain. Thankfully, we do know how the subscribe button works. Just press it and you'll be sure to get the latest videos. Blue whales. Blue whales are known for their massive size and are less well known for their beautiful singing voices. Whales use their song to communicate with one another, but their voices have been changing for reasons we're unsure of. Each year, scientists have recorded their calls to one another and noticed that their voices are getting increasingly deep. We do have some possible explanations, including increased noise pollution and changes in social structure, but none of them are a viable explanation at this point. Mark McDonald is the president of Whale Acoustics, a company that monitors the songs of various aquatic whale species. In 2000, they began to notice that their equipment had to be continually recalibrated in order to detect the songs of the whales. They pored over older data and realized that the whale's tonal frequency is falling by a few fractions of a hertz each year, and the shift is the same regardless of what song they're singing. Argentine ants. While humans are known for spreading out across Earth and establishing new colonies, insects don't tend to do the same. Except for the Argentine ant, they're the only known species that has colonized in 15 different countries across 6 separate continents. Native to Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, Bolivia, and Brazil, they've inadvertently traveled to many other places. These ants share the same genetic traits despite being so far apart, and their social structure has been massively confusing for scientists. Typically, when animals migrate from their native environment, they undergo rapid evolution as they adapt to their new environment. But this hasn't been the case for these ants, and we aren't sure why. And although they are aggressive when introduced to other species of ants, they recognize their intercontinental brethren when they're put together. Flowers. This fact about flowers so vexed Charles Darwin that he calls it an abominable mystery. You may have never questioned the abundance of beautiful flowers in the world, but it didn't always used to be this way, and scientists aren't sure what's changed. When plants began to form over 400 million years ago, they existed for 250 million years without blossoming. Flowering plants are known as angiosperms, and these are about 350,000 known species, making up 90% of all plants. If you think about it, flowers take a lot of energy to produce, so why did they develop in the first place? Plants could have instead used that energy to create more seeds or grow taller, both of which would have improved their odds of surviving. It's difficult to study ancient flowers because of their fragility. They tend to scatter and decompose rather than leaving usable fossil records. Burping black holes. Well, one interesting fact is that black holes burp. It sounds incredibly strange, but hey, that's the word NASA used to describe this phenomenon, so we're going with it. Black holes are the infinitely dense remains of collapsed stars, and they exert an immense and inescapable gravitational force. With the exception of Hawking's radiation, named for scientist Stephen Hawking, nothing has been known to escape from a black hole. But it turns out that when a black hole consumes a star, it belches out a bright flare of light. The star is swallowed up, and this creates a sudden injection of gas close to the black hole horizon. This injection leads to a burst of brilliant light that erupts far enough away to escape the pull of the black hole. This was a huge discovery because for so long, we just assumed that black holes destroyed everything near them and didn't create anything in return. Right-handed. If you're left-handed, you know that most things were designed with right-handed people in mind. And that's because left-handed people are far in the minority, making up only 15% of the population. This seems to have been the case as long as we've been walking upright, because there has never been a report of a population in which left-handed people were in the majority. Interestingly enough, when chimps walk on all fours, they show zero hand preference, but when they walk upright, they show a very clear hand preference the same way that we do. Some scientists believe our asymmetrical hand preferences were a result of us evolving to walk upright and use tools. We do know that lateralization of limbs begins in the brain, and that the right and left hemispheres control certain tasks. Due to some crossed wires, the left side of our brain mostly controls the right side of our bodies and vice versa. Bapimi Silent Zone. You've probably heard of the mysterious Bermuda Triangle before. The Bapimi Silent Zone, or the Zona del Silencio, is another enigmatic place that is often compared to the Bermuda Triangle. They're both located between parallels 26 and 28, and are both associated with many strange and unexplained happenings. It's located in the desert outside of San Ignacio, Mexico, and became well known after an event that happened in July 1970. The U.S. military launched an Athena test missile that lost control and crashed when flying over what is now known as the Mapimi Silent Zone. The rocket was carrying 2 small containers of a radioactive element known as cobalt-57. While the rocket was eventually discovered, strange occurrences have been known to happen in that area. These include magnetic abnormalities, communication devices not working properly, and even increased reports of extraterrestrial sightings. The placebo effect. Placebos are an important part of medical research, and it's likely that you've heard of the placebo effect. This is when people believe that they've taken medicine and subsequently experience the benefits of that medication despite not actually receiving it. In fact, people have also been reported to suffer from negative side effects associated with medication they haven't taken, and this is often called the nocebo effect. For a long time, scientists wondered if these effects were mere coincidences, but studies have shown that this is indeed a real phenomenon. We just don't know how it works, and there are things you can do to make the placebo effect more effective. Placebo injections work better than placebo pills, and certain colored pills work better for certain ailments, and don't be so quick to write this off as a simple case of mind over matter. Placebos have been shown to cause very real and measurable chemical changes in the body. Cows eating. Most of us are probably more interested in eating cows rather than thinking about how cows eat. But thanks to good old Google Earth, scientists studying cow herds noticed something strange. The team behind this discovery was led by Henrik Berta from the University of Duisburg-Essen in Germany. He noticed that when cows graze, they nearly always line up with the magnetic south or north poles. When scientists decided to dig a little deeper, they discovered that the cows they observed faced north or south and were off by no more than 5 degrees. All in all, the team observed 8,500 cows spread out across 300 pastures located in various parts of the world. While we assume that there is some evolutionary advantage to eating in this manner, we just aren't sure what it could possibly be. And cows aren't the only herbivores that do this, as we now know that deer eat the same way. Migration. We all know that some animals migrate great distances, but exactly how do they navigate their journey? And animals aren't the only things mysteriously migrating. In the past 30 years, 3/4 of eastern tree species in the U.S. have been shifting westward at a rapid rate. They've been moving 9.5 miles per year. Okay, maybe that doesn't sound so fast, but remember, these are trees we're talking about here. You might be picturing Ents from Lord of the Rings right now, but what we mean is that because of trends in seed dispersal, new trees begin growing in a different place. This phenomenon is contrary to what scientists predicted in the past. They once believed that climate change would send species towards the poles. However, these trees are instead heading west instead of north. At least the broadleaf deciduous trees are. The sun's atmosphere. We all know that the sun is incredibly hot, about 10,340 degrees Fahrenheit to be precise. But did you know that its atmosphere is even hotter? Known as the corona, it's about 300 times hotter than the sun itself. Although there are theories regarding this, we aren't completely sure what heats the corona to such an extreme temperature, especially when compared to the surface of the sun. You would think that as you moved away from the burning sun, it would be cooler instead of hotter. This is an important unsolved problem of astrophysics, but we may be close to solving it. One theory that's gaining traction is that the corona is heated by small explosions known as nanoflares. These intense bursts of heat can reach temperatures up to 18 million degrees Fahrenheit. So rather than being heated continually, many scientists believe that these sporadic flares are the cause of the high temperatures. We love hearing about strange and unusual phenomena, even if we don't always know how it occurs. What do you think is the most interesting natural occurrence on Earth? Tell us in the comment section, and maybe we'll use your idea in a future video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel before you leave for more awesome videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.